Hello, everyone. Welcome to On the Grind, and I've got a very special guest with me today. He's a good friend of mine. He's my pastor. It's Pastor Trevor Allen. Thank you so much for coming,
Not a problem.
being in the car on the show. We appreciate it. And I got a couple questions for you today.
Okay.
One thing I wanted to ask you with the Parkland shooting and just how things have been a little crazy with teenagers and millennials lately. They say they're the most depressed kids ever. Where, in your opinion, because you've worked with kids for a long time, you've worked with kids for 20 plus years, I believe, and just just your opinion, where do you think this is coming from? Why do you think they're in the situation they're in today?
I think partially it's because we are such a technical world now. We text, we Snapchat, and I think there's something that God created on the inside of us that is a personal connection, and I think that's an area that is starving in our society and in our world, where we don't have that one-on-one relationship with anyone. We do it through a machine, we do it through a phone, we do it through, and we're missing that point where we're kind of just, touching people, listening to people, being open with people. And I think this society in this generation is really starving for it. I kind of look at it like this. I see where a lot of people are pulling their kids out of public schools and putting them into a private school. And I said, why are they doing that? Because, my son is in a special school that he goes to. And it's because they get the attention that they need so they can be successful. And I think many kids aren't getting the attention that they need, and so it puts them in a bad situation to fail.
Oh, I totally agree with that. And let me ask you this too. You remember our generation when we were growing up? We were like the Breakfast Club generation, right? Our parents just didn't understand.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't
Right.
get it, and we were going to be that generation with
Right.
our kids that we were gonna be different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So do you think we kind of dropped the ball a little bit?
Oh, we majorly dropped the ball because this is what we did. Because we were in that Breakfast Club generation, we understand what we experienced. So now we're trying to talk to them by our experiences. And they're already way past those experiences. And so we don't take the time to find what they're experiencing, what they're involved in, what their culture is. And so we're speaking to them in our language of the Breakfast Club,
Right.
instead of their generation and their situation and their circumstances.
Wow, that's good. That's good. And let me also ask you this: when you're talking about trying to find their language,
Right.
and you're trying to speak in their language and stuff, do you think it's more of we have to accept certain things? This is just this society. That's just because everybody, we're throwing out snowflakes a lot, and we're throwing out this and that and the other. But at the same time, don't you think it's got to be more of an acceptance? Like, look, this is what it is.
Right.
This is who they are.
Right, and that's I see a lot of it is we don't want to lower our standard to accept them. But it's amazing because the way I look at it as being a pastor is Jesus came, he lowered himself to accept us where we are. Mm-hmm. So why do we feel like we can't lower ourselves to accept people where they are now? And I think so many of us, we carry this standard that we don't even meet ourselves.
Right.
And we expect someone else to meet it.
Right, absolutely.
Especially in this generation.
And I think one thing that I've noticed about you working with you over the past however many years, it's been 4, 5, 6 years,
Right.
something like that. But the one thing that I've noticed is how much time you give kids.
Right.
And I think I explained one time on the show where there was a girl who said, you come to more of my games than my own parents do.
Right.
Do you think time's an issue too?
Oh yeah, it's because we're so preoccupied with our businesses, with our finances, with everything else, that time that we used to give kids, we can't give anymore. And so now they're starving for that time, that, like I said, is that one-on-one relationship. And I think so many of them in this generation, we have to say, you know what, enough is enough. I've got to start giving and devoting some of my time. I'm going to use last night I got home from work and I had to go to another meeting in an hour, but my youngest son says, "Hey Dad, can you pitch me some baseballs?" And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I got this to do, I got that to do. And I said, wait a second, you know what? I got to give him time.
Right.
Because if I don't give him time, he's going to find someone or something that's going to give him time.
Right.
And at the end of the day, am I going to allow them to groom my son, or am I going to take the time that it takes to groom my own son?
Oh, I that's good. That's good. Because at sometimes being ministers, sometimes how many times are we looking to save the whole world, but we miss our own family?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's awesome. Well, that's been a man. Thank you so much. That's been such great insight.
Thank you, man.
I enjoy talking to you. And you know, I think if we can start to just take certain things that you talked about today,
Right.
taking time with our kids, trying to not try to make them to who we want them to be, but accept them where they are.
Exactly.
I really think we can start to see change, and I'm praying for change
That's
for
what we
this
need.
generation. I really am. Well, thanks a lot for watching. This was Pastor Trevor, and I'm Mike, and we'll see you next time on The Grind.